The Pacific stretched endlessly in every direction. Deep blue water, calm surface. The summer of 1945. World War II still raged. American forces were closing in on Japan, but victory would cost hundreds of thousands of lives, unless something changed. A heavy cruiser cut through the Pacific swells, gray paint, battle scars from Iwo Jima and Okinawa, the USS Indianapolis, 610 feet of American steel. She had just left San Francisco days earlier, mid-July, heading west at full speed. No escort ships accompanied her. Speed was her only protection, one of the fastest cruisers in the Navy. Below decks, a special container sat under constant guard. Armed Marines, 24 hours a day. No one could approach. Only a handful of men knew what was inside. Parts for a weapon, a bomb unlike any other in history. The atomic bomb, codenamed Little Boy, destined for Hiroshima. Captain Charles McVay III stood on the bridge, a respected officer, Naval Academy graduate, third-generation Navy man. Both his father and grandfather had worn admiral stars. He commanded 1,196 men, sailors, Marines, officers, many barely out of their teens, farm boys and city kids, fresh from training, eager to serve their country. They didn't know about the cargo, top secret. Only Captain McVay and a few senior officers knew the truth. The mission was urgent. Every day the war continued, more Americans died, more Japanese died. Fire bombings, island battles, kamikaze attacks. American commanders were planning the invasion of Japan itself, Operation Downfall. Expected casualties, 1 million Allied soldiers, millions of Japanese civilians. But this cargo might change everything, might end the war without invasion, might save all those lives. The Indianapolis steamed west. Days passed. The crew worked, stood watch, wrote letters home, played cards, waited. Then, late July, Tinian Island appeared on the horizon, a tiny speck in the Marianas, recently captured from Japan. The Indianapolis dropped anchor. The secret cargo was unloaded, handed over to Army Air Force personnel. The mission was complete. Within weeks, those parts would be assembled, loaded onto a B-29 bomber called Enola Gay, dropped on Hiroshima, changed warfare forever. The most important cargo delivery in naval history. Captain McVay received new orders. Proceed to Leyte in the Philippines, join other ships, prepare for the invasion of Japan. He requested an escort. The route passed through dangerous waters. Japanese submarines still prowled these seas, hunting. But headquarters said no escort was available. The Indianapolis would sail alone. Late July, the 28th, the Indianapolis departed Tinian, heading west toward the Philippines. The crew was relaxed. The secret mission was over. They were heading to rejoin the fleet, back to normal Navy routine. No one suspected what waited ahead. In the darkness beneath the Pacific, death was already moving toward them. July 30th, 1945, just after midnight, 12:14 a.m. The Indianapolis was steaming through the Philippine Sea. Dark night, calm seas. The crew was mostly asleep. Only the watch was on duty. Below the surface, a Japanese submarine was hunting, I-58, commanded by Lieutenant Commander Mochitsura Hashimoto, one of Japan's most experienced submarine captains. Hashimoto had spotted the Indianapolis on the surface, unescorted, zigzagging slowly, an easy target. He positioned I-58 for attack, fired 6 torpedoes. At 12:14 a.m., 2 torpedoes struck the Indianapolis. The first hit near the bow, a massive explosion. The forward fuel tanks erupted. fire shot hundreds of feet into the air. The second torpedo struck mid-ship, another explosion. The engine room flooded instantly. The Indianapolis shuddered, listed. Men were thrown from their bunks. Captain McVeigh rushed to the bridge. The damage was catastrophic. The bow was nearly blown off, water flooding in. The ship was dying. "Send a distress signal," McVeigh ordered. The radio operators tried, but the electrical system was failing. The antennas were damaged. Whether any distress signal got out, no one knew. Within 12 minutes, the Indianapolis was rolling over and sank. Gone. About 900 men made it into the water. Out of 1,196 crew, roughly 300 went down with the ship. But for the 900 in the water, the nightmare was just beginning. 900 men floated in the Philippine Sea, dark, alone. Some had life jackets, others clung to debris, anything that floated. They assumed rescue would come soon. Surely the Navy noticed they were missing. No rescue came. Day 1, the men stayed together. Officers kept morale up, but the tropical sun rose, brutal heat. Men suffered, dehydration, saltwater sores. Then the sharks came. Oceanic whitetips, drawn by blood and bodies. They circled, then attacked. Men screamed, pulled under, blood everywhere. The survivors could only watch in horror. Day 2, worse. The heat, the sharks. Men drank seawater, went mad, hallucinated, fought each other. Officers tried maintaining order. Chaos. Day 3, hope faded. Why no rescue? The terrible truth, the Navy didn't know they were missing. No distress signal received. The Navy assumed Indianapolis arrived at Leyte on schedule. No one checked. Day 4, hundreds had died. Sharks, dehydration, madness. Of 900 in the water, only 317 remained alive. August 2nd, a miracle. Lieutenant Wilbur Gwynn flew a routine patrol, spotted an oil slick, looked closer. Men in the water, hundreds. He radioed, survivors in water. Rescue ships arrived, USS Cecil Doyle, others. They pulled men from the sea, sunburned, delirious, half dead. 317 survived, 879 died. The loss of the Indianapolis was the worst naval disaster in U.S. history. The Navy was stunned, embarrassed. How could a heavy cruiser disappear for 4 days without anyone noticing? Someone had to be blamed. Captain Charles McVeigh III was court-martialed, charged with hazarding his ship by failing to zigzag and failing to order abandoned ship in a timely manner. The trial was controversial. McVeigh's crew defended him. Survivors testified that he did everything he could. Even Commander Hashimoto, the Japanese submarine captain who sank the Indianapolis, was brought to testify. He said zigzagging wouldn't have mattered. He would have sunk the ship anyway. But the Navy needed a scapegoat. McVeigh was convicted, the only U.S. Navy captain ever court-martialed for losing a ship in combat during World War II. He was not sent to prison. He continued to serve, but the conviction destroyed him. For decades, he received hate mail. Families of the dead blamed him. The Navy blamed him. In 1968, at age 70, Charles McVeigh took his own life. But his crew never gave up. The survivors fought for decades to clear his name. They wrote letters, lobbied Congress, testified. They knew McVeigh was a scapegoat, that the Navy had failed, not their captain. Finally, in 2000, 55 years after the sinking, Congress passed a resolution. President Clinton signed it. Captain Charles McVeigh III was exonerated, his record cleared. Too late for McVeigh, but justice, finally, for a good man who had been wronged. Today, the USS Indianapolis is remembered. 879 men died, the worst naval disaster in American history. 900 men in the water for 4 days. sharks, heat, madness, death. 317 survived because of their courage, their will to live, their brotherhood. Captain Charles McVay III was exonerated, his honor restored, a good man who was made a scapegoat. The Indianapolis completed the most important mission of World War II, delivering the atomic bomb that ended the war. She paid the ultimate price, but her mission succeeded. Remember the USS Indianapolis, July 30th, 1945, torpedoed by I-58. 4 days in hell, sharks, 879 dead, 317 survived. Captain McVay, wronged but finally exonerated. The crew that never gave up fighting for their captain. The ship that helped end World War II. Honor their sacrifice. Remember their courage. They were heroes, every one of them.